We have a really nice farming, mining, drilling community set up on the outskirts of the city. And this was all done last episode in order to take us from what was a deficit back to having a surplus. Because as the city was growing, we were starting to use up more and more of those resources. But it looks good. Look at this. Nice. Welcome back to more of our kind of a hybrid beginner's guide to City Skylines 2, as well as just having fun and a let's play. But this brings up a really good point. We spent the first few episodes getting the city up and running and having a surplus. And then last episode, we had gone to a deficit, so we worked on getting that back to a surplus. The city is growing, so with a growing city, let's pause. There are some things that were in good shape that may not be in such in that same situation. So let's go up here. So we are doing good with electricity for the city. But as the city is growing, what we have available to export is starting to come down a bit. So there is an opportunity to work on that. But also, let's look at this. Look at this. Our water availability is starting to come down. So we need to work on that. We've been talking for a while about garbage. Now this looks, we got to let the simulation run for a while. But this will change. But these are some things that we need to work on in the next few moments, game days, episodes. But let's go ahead and get started. I can already tell from experience that water availability is about to dip down. So let's do this. Let's come here before we get started on the real meat of what it is that we want to do in this episode. So remember, we've got these two water pumping stations. Let's put down two more. Let's let the simulation play. And it's going to take some time, but this should swing nicely out into there. Wonderful. Wonderful. I just know from experience that that was going to be an issue. If you remember last episode, we had to put down, where is it? We had to put down some extra sewage. So good. All right. So now remember, we have already unlocked. Last episode, we went ahead and unlocked train. But before we were working on cargo train, I wanted to have a lot of goods to ship out on cargo. So let's work on that. Now, before in between last episode and this episode, I've let the simulation run for maybe 5 minutes or so on high speed like that, just to let some funds build up. I want to, probably the last thing we do as we wrap up, we'll put down that recycling. But let's get started. Let's work on some cargo train. Let's bulldoze this. The thing that you want to keep in mind when it comes to train is you're going to need some space. Make sure you're not subjecting your trains to very, very sharp turns. So let's see here. What do we want to do? I want an area. I think what's going to happen is I think the city, as far as the buildings, I think the city's going to extend in that direction. We've already got the highway connections for it. The other thing that we need to work on at some point is we've got highway here. So all of our traffic is coming in. We've got multiple routes once you get into the city, but right now we still have this one highway coming in to the city. So what we're going to need to work on is we're going to need to work on another way in, and we've got this highway here. So that's something else to work on. But let's get started here. I think I'm going to let the game run while we work on train just to continue to build some funds. Let's do this. Instead of everything coming on this road, let's all right, now we're going to create another way over the water. Let's do this. And let's see. So for train, I'm going to need two things. I'm going to need, let's go so I can show you what I'm talking about. So for train, the first thing I'm going to need is the rail yard. And then once we place the rail yard, that will unlock the cargo train terminal. So all right, I think maybe right around here. You can put down the rail yard and then roads, or you can do roads. Let's see here. I want to do, let's do it first. I'm going to rotate it. You see that orange flashing right there at bottom? That's where my road connection will be. Let's see here. Where's the train? Let's do, let's do that. Let's run a road. See that? It'll let you know when you've got it just right. It'll snap. Okay. That's enough for right now. Now, let's do this. I'm going to get rid of more of this track here. Or actually, I think we can. So let's zoom in before we see that. That's double track. And what I want to do is, where's my rail yard? The main pass through is also double. All right. Let's grab this. Let's click on simple curve. Yeah, this should be plenty of space. Let's come out to right about here. And then I want a gentle curve. No, that's not what I want. Let's back up a bit. Maybe we do it from here. Let's do there. There. Just a very, very gentle curve. Let's do this. Now these are singles. I'm going to take this. Let's come out. I find that when you do things, there are no sharp turns when it comes to trains. Let's do this.
Has anyone seen my keys?
See that? Let me zoom in.
What?
I want it to connect to both.
Sorry about that. It's
And you'll get that
important. I just lost my keys.
there.
I'm sure they'll turn up. They're for the brown sedan parked outside. Locals. This just.
All right, now. This one, let's do. Maybe right about there. Right, now, I think for the cargo, where we actually load and unload, I think I'm going to do a one-way road. Let's first of all, let's bring this out a bit. That should be enough. Now, one way, and we'll fine-tune this, but I just want to get it established. One way in this direction. Let's go ahead and loop it back. I don't want a traffic issue. Now, because this is a more of a beginner's guide than anything, I'm not going for style points. If you're playing along and you want this to look prettier, be my guest. Now let's bring this back. Yeah, I don't want two-way. I want the trucks to come drop off the cargo and then loop back around. Now, we've unlocked cargo train terminal. And it's going to snap. Let's see here. Let's come out here so we have plenty of space. Okay. I already want extra track. And we could do storage. Let's do that. Let's do some extra storage. Where do we want to put it? I don't think we're going to need more than 2 tracks. And then what'll happen, any excess will get stored. Now, let's do this. I need really, really gentle curves again. Let's come back to train. Let's go double. Let's do it from the. Now let's get as gentle of a curve as possible. I don't think you're going to get much more gentle than that. I'm going to bring it into this. Now the only concern, I may gently curve this. Like that. In all reality, well, I think that'll be fine. No, let's fine tune it a bit more. Let's connect it this way. Let's do this. No. There, I like that better. And then I want to just gently there. There, everything crosses. No sharp turns. That should be plenty of space for the train. Let's come back here. These are singles. Let's come out. Let's get this one. Okay. Now, if I wanted my train to completely bypass maybe to here. I don't want it too close to that intersection. That might be too sharp. There, let's try this. That should be fine. Okay, everything looks good. Now you see those indicators because we've not connected the road, so right now it does not have water and power. Let's go ahead and connect that road. And then those indicators will go away. This is coming from the city, so I'm going to let this remain. What is it, a 6-lane? It really doesn't have to be a major. Well, let's Who knows? We may get pretty significant traffic. Let's do some roundabouts just to help out. I think that's the most important. Possibly there as well. Now that the road is connected, look at that. Nice. All right, now everything's connected. No sharp turns. Gentle sweeping. All right. Now let's go back. Now, this is grayed out because that's passenger, but see this? Cargo railway tool. So just like we set a connection with bus, let's set connections with train. And we actually have two of them. So we've got one there and one there. So let's come over to our cargo terminal, click line. I'm going to click this. Let's come here, click that. Let's come back.
A driving advisory has been issued for the immediate area due to poor road conditions.
And see where it says
Exercise
complete
caution if you must drive,
the
and
route.
try to stay off the street. Pending up
How do and
industry.
All right, now that's one. Create a new route. Let's start a new route at the other line. And then let's take that one here. We now have two rail lines. Let's play. Or faster. Slow down. And we have generated. There's our train. And if the train seems to move at a pretty good clip, you're in good shape. Now look at that. That is not a good connection. That's why we want to check. Let's pause. Is there anything else that is not connected? See, everything else we did good there. We did good. Everything is connected except for that one. Now let's look at it. Better. Better. And I think the curve is good. They tend to use the rail yard to pass through. I still create this, but the trains seem to be moving well. you see your trains slow down to a crawl, and not because they're avoiding each other, but if you see them slow down to a crawl, you know you've got corners that are too tight. That's why I need lots of land, lots of real estate. Let's see how this does. Yeah, we're fine. Good. Good. All right, so we have allowed, while we were doing that, simulation has been running. We've got trains. We have the need. See that? I already know what this is. This is the city's growing, waiting for a hearse. So we need to address that. But before we address that, we've been talking about this for multiple episodes. We can now afford it. Let's come here. Let's get the recycling center. Let's put the recycling center down. And we still have over 2 million. I'm gonna do another. Where's my crematorium? All 10 vehicles are in use. So we could do another crematorium, or we could do more vehicles. For right now, let's max this one out. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. So we now have 5 extra vehicles. Okay. And we'll see how they do. We may still need, because we've got a good number of, but we've kind of allowed that to get out of control. Let's also come here. We've been seeing these icons now for a while. Ground pollution. Instead of people living here, maybe we make this office. See that? See those indicators? We just changed that zone. Now it's going to do it on its own, but let's kind of hurry it. Let's help it out a bit. We can get rid of some of these. But I've seen this icon now for multiple episodes, and it was just going to get worse. They're living a little too close And we'll see how the offices do. We've got more zones that need to be placed. Medium density, commercial, industrial. Commercial. I'm sorry, that was industrial. Commercial. Let's do commercial out there. Medium density housing. More commercial. Very good. We need to monitor the crematorium. If those changes do not get us to where we need to be, we'll put down another crematorium. I already know, without even looking, because we have dramatically added to our population. Schools are going to be in desperate need. All right, now I want to show you something. Let's take a look at this. Taxes. Because of a growing population, this is now one of our primary sources. Look at our service fees, but look at this service trade. As of right now, because we're only exporting about 150 megawatts, $152 megawatts. There is more opportunity to make a profit off of these exports of electricity. Now, we did the small coal power plant just for the fun of it and because we could afford it. This city's making really good money. I think it's well worth the investment to do another gas power plant. Let's get it right about there. Let's get our transformer station
Local authorities are urging the public to conserve water and reduce
there.
the burden on the city.
Hey, drive the.
That this just
Let's come over to power line. Right there. Bring that here. And then connect that there. And it's going to be interesting to see. Now we can export more than double where we were. We can export 400 megawatts. Let's just see over time where that takes us. Actually, let's do this. I'm going to leave this up. Let's up our speed. Let's see. We went from 300,000 to 400,000. 890,000. 1,000,000. Now, the initial cost was up there, but if you look at the upkeep, I think that was worth it. That was worth it. Next episode, we've got, I think we're just going to go ahead and start working on more death care. We've got to work on education again. We've got to make a highway connection out there. That's going to be needed. That way we'll have 2 ways in, and this community here will be able to ship things out not only by cargo, but we'll have an easier time shipping out using the highway. Yeah, that was worth it. Look at our monthly balance. We have a nicely growing city. And we finally, we've been talking about this for episodes. We can finally afford that recycling center. But yeah, next episode, we're going to go through our data, see what it is that we need to work on for this city and continue to expand. But wonderful, we are becoming much more of a city that has multiple ways of getting goods in and out of the city, and we've expanded our production with a lot more fertile land and a lot more ore and oil. We need to also create another forest as well. Nice. Very nice.